Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you watched the video yesterday, yes, there's been a big patch that just shaked up the game. I've been playing loads of games, I've been testing out all kind of different formations, and in today's video I will be showing you guys the top 3 formations after the patch that you guys should be playing with. Now, let's jump right into it. So, the third best formation right now in this year's game is going to be the 4-4-2 formation. And why is the 4-4-2 formation back? Basically because it's easier to defend. As you've seen by the video that I posted yesterday, speed jockey is back, which means that it's easier to track back with center midfielders, but also easier to defend inside the box with your center backs. And also, the thing that you get from the 4-4-2 in terms of attack is obviously you get 2 strikers that will be available, both of them inside the box, depending on what roles you play with them. But we're jumping into the roles and tactics soon. More importantly, center midfielders need to have good passing playstyles. In my case, I have Reinders and De Jong here, which is obviously super important. Wingers, you're basically looking for pace. I decided to go for Nico Williams and Mbappe. And also, Yamal is not really in my team anymore. And you might ask yourself why. Basically because this patch, I think, patched Yamal a bit. Yamal is not the same as he was before. Mainly because he's lacking that kind of extra pace. And if we compare Nico to Yamal, Nico is obviously, I think, 9 or 10 pace quicker, which is going to be super important in this game. Because in this game right now, the most important thing to play for, in my opinion, is either you play for the through balls, which means that you need quicker plays in behind, like a Nico Williams, Mbappe and stuff, or you decide to play for resets. And if you guys don't know what a reset is, I might do a tutorial on this. I might come on tutorial Tuesday. But it's all about going down to the corner flag, trying to do the Ollelito play from last year, where you go to the corner flag, try to find your center midfielders, then try to basically use the tiki-taka of them to try to play a first time pass into the box and try to score. So 4-4-2 will be third on this list. As I said though, quite a simple formation. I think 4-4-2 is the most basic formation in all years of FIFA or FC, whatever you want to call it. Most important thing then, center back should have pace. Fullback should just be pacey and decent on the ball. As fullbacks, I think you want to get them involved in a 4-4-2. You don't want to get countered very heavily, but you still want to get them involved in the build-up. As I explained previously, passing playstyles are super important for the midfielders, for the center midfielders. Left mid, right mid, I think should also be pace, as you want them to make that threatening run in behind. And for the strikers then, depends a bit on how you play. If you play for a lot of resets, I would advise you guys to get 2 very good finishers with good rolls. I play for a lot of through balls now after the patch, as you've guys seen in the video that I posted yesterday. So I decided to go for Claudia Pina, of course. And as I have Zico on my bench now, who can't play a striker, I just put Domornay in. Obviously, you can have different options here, but I would advise you guys to go for someone that's quick, pacey, good with dribbling, good with left stick then obviously, as R1 dribbling is gone, but also good playstyles in terms of game changer, low driven, or finesse basically. So if you're jumping into the tactics pretty quickly then, this is going to be my 4-4-2 tactic. This is what I decided to go with after the patch. So Mamardashvili, super important that you guys put the role that you want to on the goalkeeper. I just put the plus role most of the times, but I'm not a big fan of ball playing keeper, so I either go with normal goalkeeper or sweeper keeper. But Mamardashvili will be on sweeper keeper. Llorente and Nuno Mendes will be on fullback defend. As I still want to get them involved, I need to trigger them manually, but I don't want to get countered, so that's why I have them on defend as well. And also they are tucking in a bit more when they are outside the box, which makes it more compact for my team and harder for the opponent to attack through the spaces between the center back and the fullback. Center backs are on defender, both of them. My left mid is on inside forward, so is the right midfielder, of course. De Jong, who is on deep line playmaker, he will be on deep line playmaker defend, not on build out. Super important, as he will be a bit more of the defensive midfielder. And Reinders on this case would be on playmaker attack, because I want to be a bit more offensive when I play a 4-4-2. I have 2 strikers, but I still want one of my midfielders to be a bit more involved in attack, which will be Reinders then. For the strikers, you can use advanced forward both, which I do, but I'm not against trying out false 9 build up on the player that has incisive, if you play with a player that has incisive. Now Domornay and Pina, both of them have incisive, but I guess most of you guys will play with Pina. Then I would advise you guys to, if you feel like you can't really find the strikers in build up, try false 9 out. Doesn't need to be build up, can also be attack, and then use advanced forward on the other striker. But me personally, I play with the advanced forward on both. And also build-up style will be balanced, defensive approach will be high, and the code will be up there or under 4-4-2. That would be the code. We will zoom it in here so you guys can copy this. And yeah, overall very good 4-4-2 tactic that I've been playing quite a few games with after the new patch. And then if we jump into the second best formation in the game, it will be the 4-4-1-1, a formation that I've been playing loads of games with this year. Probably a formation that I played the most games with the whole year. Or the whole game, I should say, as it's only been out for around a month. Anyway, basically, obviously the same team. Now Zico comes in instead of Domornay. Very simple. Key in the 4-4-1-1 is basically the same as in 4-4-2. The only difference is obviously we have a cam. And the cam needs to have passing playstyle. So I would advise you guys, obviously a lot of you guys don't really have the budget for Zico. So I would you guys to maybe get a Bonmati, who I actually have on the bench. Unfortunately, I think Bonmati might be a bit patched after the patch that just came, of course, because R1 dribbling basically gone, which means that her goal playstyle is basically non-existent. But she still has some really good playstyles in terms of incisive, ping, tiki-taka, and inventive, I believe that is, but also with low driven. But if you look at Zico, then he's the perfect cam. He has finesse, he has incisive and tiki-taka, also technical and white, which doesn't really matter. Dead ball is nice for corners and free kicks, and overall a fantastic cam. But also, we should actually take this into consideration. He has 5-star, and scored 76 goals in 46 games and 33 assists. So simply amazing player. But as I said, if you guys don't really have the budget for Zico or Bonmati even, you could even go for Florian Wirtz, for example, who has amazing passing playstyles, if you guys don't really have the budget. CMs, still super important to have them with tiki-taka, goal or white in my opinion, so you can make these kind of reset passes into the box. Same thing with the wingers, super important that they have that kind of like threatening pace in behind, as we want to play for a few more through balls. And the biggest difference between 4-4-2 and 4-4-1-1 will be obviously that we don't really have two strikers next to each other. So I need to combine a bit more with Pina and Zico. But in 4-4-1-1 is super important, in my opinion, that play for a lot of through balls, that my striker has incisive. So I would either way go for Pina, Dumornay, Harry Kane in form, for example, and players in general that have incisive as a striker. If you're not really playing for through balls, I don't think it's necessary, then you can go for whatever players you want. But I'm going for players that have more incisive, as I like to play for a lot of through balls in the 4-4-1-1 or even the #1 formation that's coming out for you guys soon. Tactics. Build-up style balanced, defensive approach will not be on extreme. This was when I played a tournament and I was losing the game. It will be on high. I think high is still very decent. If you want to copy the tactics, is at the top left of your screen there. We will zoom in, of course, as well. If you jump into the tactics then, first of all, we're starting off with sweepy keeper. We do full back defend, as we did in 4-4-2, and defender. I would say this is kind of like the most common tactics, with the defenders having done on full back defend, and then defenders only just being on defender. For my CMs, it will be left CM will be on box to box, which will be Reinders in this situation, and Frenkie de Jong will be on deep line playmaker build up on the right hand side. You can obviously switch these around if you guys would like to play de Jong on the left, Reinders on the right, doesn't really matter. But yeah, I would advise to go for a box to box on one and deep line playmaker build up on one. Right midfielder will be on inside forward balanced, left mid will be on inside forward balanced, Zico will be on shadow striker, and Pina will be on false 9 attack. And false 9 attack, as I said before, is really good. I would advise you guys, if you're not really loving the false 9, and this is only build up, this is, by the way, because the majority of games I've been playing with advanced forward, as I think that just helps me a bit more. And this is actually what I'm going to play with now as well. But this is also depends on what you're playing the cam on, because the shadow striker will act more as a striker, more coming into the box, finding feet inside the box. And obviously when we have Zico in our team, I want to get the ball to him inside the box because of the finesse. I can just shoot finesses, and I even feel like finesses after the patch is even better. So Zico will be on shadow striker. You could also play him on playmaker, but I think it depends on it. So if you play Zico on shadow striker, I would advise you guys to either go for false 9 or target forward. If you decide to play Zico on playmaker, I would definitely advise you guys to go for target forward, because playmaker will help a bit more in build up, and I don't think that is necessary to play Pina on false 9, because obviously that would also be more kind of like a help in terms of build up. Yes, I have not tried Classic 10, but I heard from a lot of people that it's not really good. Let me know in the comments if you guys tried Classic 10, but I will keep Zico on shadow striker, and I will actually use Pina right now as an advanced forward focusing on attack, just for now. And as I said, if you want to copy the tactics, they are at the top left of your screen. Build up style balance, defensive approach should be high, 70 depth, as you see right here. And jumping into the most overpowered and best formation in this year's game right now, the meta formation is going to be 4-5-1. And it's a very common formation used amongst a lot of pros. Last week in the Euros, where I finished top 9 in Europe, I was one game away from qualifying for the live event. I played 4-5-1 a lot of games, and it's a really good formation, and it's even better after the patch. Once again, basically the same thing for the defenders. You want them to be quick, super important. When you play a 4-5-1 though, this is going to be a bit of a change compared to the 4-4-1-1 or the 4-4-2. As you play with 3 center midfielders, you want the left or the right CM to be on box to box. You want the middle CM to be kind of more like a holding midfielder that's still good at going forward, but more kind of a defensive one. And this is going to be de Jong. 78 defense, very good. Left CM should be, as I said, more of a box-to-box in my opinion. You could also decide to flip it around, but that would be more of a player that can go forward, but also is very good in defense. And once again, Reinders, 79 defending, but also 81 shooting on his card. And if we compare de Jong shooting to Reinders, it's 10 shooting difference. That's why I play Reinders as more of like the player that will go back and forth and help in defense, but also be able to make these runs going forward, because that's what you want in 4-5-1 basically. Zico then is going to obviously be my offensive center midfielder, and this is so great with Zico. He can play cam, which is definitely helps in a lot of formations, but also he can play center midfielder. Obviously, his defending is lacking a bit with 62, but it doesn't really matter as I have a 3-man midfield, and de Jong and Reinders will basically a lot of times do the dirty work, and then Zico gets more of a free role, and that's why he has kind of like a special role when we actually jump into the tactics later. Super important then, 4-5-1, this is the most important thing. Your wingers needs to be quick. You can't play with Yamal, you can play with Hansen, you can play with Nico, but I think in my opinion, the wingers need to be above 90 pace, because in this formation you need to play for through balls, as you will be able to send your midfielders a lot of times to be able to play for these first time through balls in behind. So if we look at Nico, 94 pace, if we look at Mbappe, obviously 97 pace, so both of them are very quick, and the striker in my opinion needs to have incisive in this formation as well, as we're playing for through balls. But also Pina is so good mainly because she also has low driven in goal, so when we get the ball into her feet inside the box, she's a very good finisher, either with a low driven playstyle or with the finesse one, as she manages to have in white on her card. Also, one thing that I forgot to say, super important, that if you want to play for the first time through balls as well, incisive and tiki-taka is like the perfect combo. If you look at Pina's card, incisive and tiki-taka. If you look at Zico's card, incisive and tiki-taka. If you look at de Jong's card, incisive and tiki-taka gold. If you look at the Reinders card, incisive and tiki-taka gold. So I can basically play these first time through balls with ease, because I have the best play styles for them in the midfield. And the thing I'm trying to look for is obviously my faster wingers making runs in behind. So, jumping into my new 4-5-1 tactics then, that I haven't showed you guys yet. The tactics will first of all be, Mamadashvili should be on sweeper keeper, but first of all we're starting off with balanced build-up style. Defensive approach will be high 70 depth. If you guys feel like you don't really want the automatic side traps and you're just getting caught with through balls, you could decide to go to 60 depth, which will be balanced, and offside traps won't be pushing up as much as they would if you have it on 61, for example. But I decided to play with 70, I think that's pretty decent for me, but it just depends on who you play, I would say, in weekly league, in rivals, whatever. Roles then, fullback will be on both defenders, as I said before, very common that this is like the defensive line in terms of tactics. Mamadashvili should be on sweeper keeper. Inside forward for Nico Williams, inside forward for Mbappe. Left CM, as I said before, box to box. We want Tiani Reinders in this case to be able to make these runs back and forth, and as I said, he is the best player in this team in terms of actually defending, but also going forward. De Jong would be on deep line playmaker defend, not on build up. Deep line playmaker defend, the central center midfielder should be on. Right CM then, as I said before, Zico will have more of a free role, and that's why we put him on playmaker attack. I could go roaming as well if I want him to move a bit more to the right and left, but I basically want him to be in the middle and make these runs in the middle. I don't really want him to go out to Nico Williams or more towards the right side. I'd rather keep him in the middle and him for being there. And yes, for the striker then, I could decide to go false 9 again if I feel like build-up is struggling. If that's something that you guys need to do manually in-game, switch it. But I always advise to start with advanced forward attack and see how the game approaches. If I feel like I can't really build up the first 20-30 minutes, that's just something that I do then. Then I just switch Claudia Pina to false 9 build-up to be able to help. But if I feel like I'm still finding her in terms of building up, then I'll definitely just keep this, and she will be basically showing feet a lot of times inside the box. And as I said before, her playstyle is simply amazing for that. And I just needed to show you guys one clip. This is basically, I showed it in the video yesterday as well with a new patch, but this is, as I said, why I really need tiki-taka and incisive in my team. So basically, as you guys see here, there will be a lot about triggering, and it will be a lot about L1 triggering. And if you guys really want a tutorial about this, let me know down in the comments. So I have the ball with Frankie de Jong. I pass it back to de Jong, but I also decide I want to send Zico. So I move my lefty quickly towards Zico and press L1. As you see here now, Zico is having his arm forward in the middle of the pitch here, which means that he's making a straight run in behind. And after this, I want to find my striker, because Pina manages to have incisive plus tiki-taka, so we can find his through balls. I manages to find Pina. Zico is just going to make this run in between Marquinhos and Van Dijk. I can play this ball because I have tiki-taka and incisive on Pina. First time through ball to Zico, and from this position it's just all about scoring the chance, which we managed to do with Zico here, and we scored to make it 3-0. And also I need to show you the other way how to basically play this game with the 4-4-1-1, 4-4-2 or 4-5-1. Yes, the looks will obviously be different depending on what formation you play with, but we want to use the through balls to our advantage. But if we can't do that and the opponent is tracking them very well, you basically need to play like this. I have my center midfielders, all of them have managers to have tiki-taka. This is why I can make these first time passes. Because of the Reinders being in on box to box, he's inside the box, obviously, making these runs back and forth. Then I managed to find Pina with a tiki-taka goal pass from Reinders. And obviously Pina, as I said, inside the box, perfect in terms of finishing, and we scored to make it 7-2 in this game. And this is basically how you play after the patch. Do you decide if you want to go for through balls, or you decide if you want to go for the Ollelito play? CM, into striker, take a touch, shoot, and basically cash money. And that's it. This is the top 3 formations right now on FC26. Let me know in the comments what formations has been working for you. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe as well, as we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. That would be much appreciated. And also, don't forget to turn on notifications so you're missing the upcoming video that's coming tomorrow. Thank you for today, boys. Love you guys. Catch you guys soon. Peace.